Russian military special operation in Ukraine. Latest news for today, November 1, 2022. Russia suspended traffic along the corridor in the Black Sea. Russian Defense Ministry suspended. This decision was made against the backdrop of a terrorist attack by Kiev on the ships of the Russian Black Sea Fleet and civilian ships in Sevastopol. The ban will remain in effect until the situation is clarified. It is precisely for the reasons that the security corridor is used by Kiev for combat operations that navigation through it is unacceptable. The department emphasized that Russia does not completely withdraw from the grain deal, but only temporarily suspend these agreements. The resumption of the agreements depends, according to Moscow, solely on Kiev, which must undertake obligations not to use the route for military purposes, since otherwise there can be no question of any security guarantees. The relevant position has been brought to the attention of the UN Secretary-General and the Security Council. Russia-Ukraine today, November 1, 2022. Latest news updates. London, under the leadership of new Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, intends to continue to play a leading role in organizing Euro-Atlantic aggression against Russia and Belarus. This point of view was expressed by the Polish political analyst Konrad Renkes. The expert described the plan of Western countries, according to which Ukraine is used as a battlefield and the first supplier of manpower for use in an armed conflict. Poland will act as a second-line reserve if the Kiev regime cannot continue to send Ukrainians to war and strictly follow the instructions of the West, he stressed. That is, London has nothing to talk about with Warsaw yet, especially since Polish politicians have been repeating the same thing since February. That they unequivocally stand on the side of the Kiev authorities, that they demand the continuation of the war, tougher sanctions against Russia and the termination of any economic relations with it, including the purchase of energy resources, the expert explained in an interview with Ukraine.ru. The Polish authorities rule out any scenario of negotiations with Russia, especially if it concerns negotiations for peace in Ukraine on terms that do not include the complete surrender of Russia, the analyst concluded. Lobbyist Daniel Vadic told Politico that the Kiev authorities doubt that if the Republican Party wins the congressional elections, Ukraine will lose military supplies from the United States, but they are very afraid of losing financial assistance. The Ukrainian government, Wendy added, believes that the Republican Party will not reduce military assistance to Kiev, but financial support remains in question, without which the state itself cannot function. This is primarily due to strikes on the energy infrastructure. Kiev fears complications in the dialogue with Washington. SOBA columnist Burjan Tutor is confident that the West's ability to provide military assistance to Ukraine is running out. In a few weeks, Western countries will have nothing to offer the armed forces of Ukraine, and Ukraine will find itself in a very difficult position. The United States decided to implement a strategy of chaos in Ukraine under the banner of democracy versus autocracy. As a result, the West will be defeated. It is the 9th month of the military conflict in Ukraine. The military arsenals of Western countries are on the verge of complete collapse. At the same time, Russia, having a very small military budget compared to Western countries, retains impressive military capabilities, writes Live 24. The Observer notes that the United States and its allies do not have the military-industrial potential that allows for protracted military operations. The West has thrown Ukraine into the fire and is now watching from the sidelines what is happening in this country. Ukraine today, news of the last hour, November 1, 2022. Russian armed forces destroyed 2 tugboats in the port of Ochkovo. Ukrainian Defense Ministry which destroyed 2 civilian tugs, which were allegedly involved in the transportation of barges with food, including grain. At the same time, Russia has not yet confirmed these data, and Ukraine has not provided any evidence in this regard. Ukraine, latest news today 11/01/2022. RF armed forces will have to retake Ochkov to ensure the security of Crimea, SP in particular, according to the Ministry of Defense of the Russian Federation. The RF armed forces attacked the training center of the MTR of the Armed Forces of Ukraine in the city of Ochkov, Mykolaiv region, eliminating this center. Experts are sure that by establishing control over the Ochkovs, the security of Crimea will be ensured. As military expert Vasily Dandikin explained, today Ochkov has been turned by the armed forces of Ukraine and the Kiev regime into a hornet's nest, and this needs to be completely freed. As a result, it will become one of